Welcome to today's episode, where we're diving deep into something that affects every single meal you've ever eaten at a wedding, corporate event, or catered gathering. I'm talking about food distribution, and more specifically, how food distributors ensure your meal arrives fresh, safe, and delicious, even after traveling hundreds of miles. You know, most people don't think twice about the journey their food takes from farm to fork. But when you're feeding hundreds or thousands of people at once, that journey becomes absolutely critical. One temperature miscalculation, one delayed shipment, or one broken cold chain link can mean the difference between a successful event and a complete disaster. So let's pull back the curtain and explore exactly how the professionals make it all work. Now, let's start with the foundation of food distribution, which is understanding the three vital distribution models that successful caterers rely on. Think about this for a moment. Not all catered events are the same, right? A small office lunch requires a completely different approach than a massive wedding reception or a multi-day conference. That's where these distribution models come into play. The first model is direct distribution, where food moves straight from the supplier to the caterer. This is your fastest route, perfect for those last-minute events or when you're working with highly perishable items that can't afford any delays. What's interesting is that this model gives caterers the most control over timing and quality, but it also puts the most pressure on their logistics planning. Here's the key point. Direct distribution works best when you have established relationships with reliable suppliers and when you're dealing with predictable order volumes. But it's not always the most cost-effective option, especially for smaller caterers who might not have the bargaining power to negotiate favorable terms. Now let's talk about the second model, hub-and-spoke distribution. Picture this. Instead of dozens of suppliers delivering directly to caterers, everything flows through regional distribution centers first. These hubs act like orchestrators, consolidating orders, managing inventory, and then distributing to multiple caterers in the area. What makes this system uniquely effective is efficiency and cost control. Caterers can order from multiple suppliers through a single delivery, which reduces both transportation costs and the complexity of managing multiple vendor relationships. But here's what's fascinating. These hubs also serve as quality control checkpoints, where products are inspected and sorted before moving to their final destinations. The third model is network distribution, and this is where things get really sophisticated. Think of it as a web of interconnected distribution points that can flex and adapt based on demand. If one location runs short on a particular item, the network can quickly reroute supplies from other points. This model is particularly valuable for large catering companies operating across multiple cities or regions. Consider this. Network distribution provides incredible resilience against disruptions, but it requires advanced technology and real-time communication systems to work effectively. The best networks use predictive analytics to anticipate demand and position inventory strategically before orders even come in. But here's where things get really critical. None of these distribution models matter if you can't maintain proper temperature control throughout the entire journey. We're talking about strict temperature controls that have zero room for error. The cold chain, as it's called in the industry, starts the moment perishable products are harvested or processed, and doesn't end until they're served to guests. For refrigerated items, we're typically looking at temperatures between 32 and 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Frozen products need to stay at 0 degrees or below. And here's what many people don't realize. Even a brief temperature spike can start bacterial growth that makes food unsafe, even if it's later returned to proper temperatures. What's interesting is how distributors maintain these temperatures during transport. Modern refrigerated trucks, or reefer trucks as they're called, are basically moving cold storage units with independent power sources, multiple temperature zones, and continuous monitoring systems. Many of these vehicles can maintain different temperatures in separate compartments, so frozen desserts and fresh produce can travel together safely. Now, let's talk about the technology that makes all this possible. GPS tracking tells distributors exactly where every shipment is at any moment. Temperature sensors provide real-time alerts if conditions go outside acceptable ranges. Some systems even photograph the inside of trucks at regular intervals to document proper loading and storage procedures. Think about this. Many distributors now offer their catering clients access to these tracking systems so they can monitor their orders in real time. This transparency builds trust and allows caterers to make informed decisions about timing and backup plans. Here's another key insight. Successful distributors build redundancy into their systems. They have backup generators for their warehouses, alternate transportation routes mapped out, and relationships with multiple carriers. Because when you're responsible for feeding 1,000 wedding guests, there's no such thing as an acceptable excuse for failure. The most effective distributors also understand seasonality and plan accordingly. Summer brings challenges with higher ambient temperatures and increased demand for fresh produce. Winter can mean weather-related transportation delays. The best companies adjust their procedures, staffing, and inventory management to handle these predictable variations. So what's the bottom line here? Whether you're a caterer yourself or just someone who appreciates the complexity behind those perfectly executed events, understanding food distribution gives you a new appreciation for the intricate dance happening behind the scenes. If you're involved in the catering industry or thinking about entering it, I encourage you to dig deeper into these distribution partnerships. Visit our website for more detailed resources on selecting and working with food distributors, and don't hesitate to reach out if you'd like to discuss how these principles might apply to your specific situation. Until next time, keep thinking about the incredible systems that bring fresh, safe food to tables everywhere.